He spent his life saving others. 12-hour surgeries. Sleepless nights. A name whispered with respect in every corridor of the trauma unit. Dr. Miles Richardson. A black man in white scrubs. Respected, trusted, relied upon, but none of that mattered. One cold night in January 2011 that he wasn't in the ER. He wasn't in an operating room. He was behind the wheel, driving home. And in the eyes of one police officer, that was enough to spark suspicion that no crime. No speeding, no broken light, just skin and a badge. What that officer didn't realize was that everything was being recorded. The dashcam would capture every second. And when the footage leaked, everything changed. Dr. Richardson had a rhythm to his life that he woke before dawn. Reviewed charts. Scrubbed in, day out. He didn't just save lives, he repaired. The unfixable. By 2011, he was one of Atlanta's top trauma surgeons. Worked at Grady Memorial, one of the busiest ERs in the South. Married. 2 kids. A golden retriever named Tyson. Faithful, kind, quiet. He didn't seek headlines. He lived for the moments no one saw. When a flatline turned into a heartbeat. When a mother got her child back. When the bleeding finally stopped on the night of January 8th, his shift ran long. For surgeries, 2 trauma codes. One miraculous recovery. He left the hospital just before 11 p.m. Still in his scrubs. Badge still clipped to his chest. Eyes heavy. Hands sore. He got into his Toyota Camry. Turned up a gospel station. And drove into the night that he never made it home. On time to at 11:03 p.m., the flashing lights appeared. Red. Blue. Bright in the rear view. A quiet highway now pulsing with suspicion that he wasn't speeding. Didn't swerve. Didn't roll a stop sign. Still, he pulled over. Calm. Careful. Lowered his window. Kept both hands on the wheel. The officer approached, hand already on his holster. Dr. Richardson stayed still. He knew the script. He had practiced it. Not in medical school, but in life. He answered questions. Where he was going. Where he came from. What he did for a living. He showed his license. Registration. Hospital ID. But something felt wrong. There was no citation. No reason offered. Just more questions. And a growing sense of doubt. And then came the request to search the car. He respectfully declined. Asked if he was being detained. There was no answer. Instead, the officer radioed for backup. Soon, a second car pulled up. 2 patrol vehicles. 1 surgeon in scrubs. No weapons. No threat. Just presence. The officer claimed something felt off. That Dr. Richardson was acting suspiciously, but his hands had never left the wheel. His tone had never changed. His pulse, ironically, was steady. For nearly 25 minutes, he stood roadside. Exhausted. Cold. Embarrassed. Every car that passed slowed down. Each glare a judgment. Every headlight, a reminder. In that moment, he wasn't a surgeon. He was a suspect. And then, something happened. A car passed, slowed, and turned around. Inside was Carla Benson, an ER nurse. She recognized the silver Camry. Recognized the man standing by it. She pulled over at a safe distance. Watched silently. Took out her phone. And pressed record. What she saw stunned her. A respected surgeon, flanked by flashing lights, treated like a criminal. No probable cause. No arrest. She didn't interfere. She didn't need to, because she knew. The truth had already begun recording. The next day, Dr. Richardson filed a formal complaint, but the system stayed silent. Unmoved. Uninterested, until the dashcam footage was leaked. The video confirmed it all. No violations. No traffic issues. No cause for the stop. The audio was clear. The officer's words, damning, he looks out of place. That was it. Not probable cause, just prejudice. Social media exploded. News outlets picked up the story. A national spotlight turned toward Atlanta. Civil rights organizations stepped in. And Dr. Richardson sued the department for unlawful detention and racial profiling. In court, the dashcam was played frame by frame. Jurors watched. The officer's body language. His tone. The complete lack of reasonable suspicion. The officer defended his actions. Said it was instinct. Said something didn't feel right. But instinct isn't justification. And the footage told the truth. Every second that played undermined the story the officer tried to spin. The courtroom was silent as the judge stared into the screen. Then down at the badge in front of him. The verdict was unanimous. The department was found liable. A $3.2 million settlement was awarded. The officer fired. His certification revoked. But this wasn't just about money. It was about change. New legislation followed. Mandatory dash cams, bias training programs, traffic stop reforms across the state. And Dr. Richardson? He went back to work. He didn't ask for fame. He asked for fairness. Today, his story is part of police training in multiple states. Not because he fought back, but because he refused to be silent, because sometimes justice doesn't roar. It records. He saved lives. And in the end, a camera helped save his.